It is time to give those secondary male leads some love today, and there's much gushing about them. There's much crying internally about how I wanted more for them. Hello friends, happy Wednesday. So very excited that you're here. I am very excited for this prompt. Shout out to my Patreon channel members who suggested it. And if you'd like to join them in suggesting weekly prompts, be sure to check out the links down below. I'm so thankful for their support. They've been getting some behind the scene goodies and I'm really excited, which they also helped decide on how that would sort of go down. That's like the spoiler free version I can give. But yes, for today's Top 5 Wednesday prompt, we are talking about our favorite secondary male leads. And this was a little bit of a struggle, just in the sense I don't read many, or I try not to read too many. Try to not read too many manga that have love triangles. Now, like somebody has told me before, Laura, if you're reading shoujo, you're probably getting a love triangle. And you know, they're right. They're right. But I try to think of like often when I'm reading things with love triangles, so maybe that's what I should have said, is that when I'm reading it, I am very much, usually the first guy that's introduced, I am very much team person. Whatever guy that is, that's the team I'm on. And it takes a lot for me to change sides, go for the other person. I don't know why, I'm just always that way. And so it made this prompt a fun challenge for me because I'm like, I know that I have favorite secondary male leads. I know that I do. And so I was going through my reading journal, going through my bookshelf, and I was going to start us off with number 1, Okamoto. From Takane and Hana. I no longer have this series, but I do have a review on this channel. I gotta figure out how to say everything I want to say without giving spoilers, but he was the perfect childhood best friend, and I wanted so much. Every time Okamoto was on page, I absolutely loved him. And I mean, as you can tell from the title, Takane and Hana, Okamoto ain't the end game. And I like Takane, don't get me wrong, but oh my gosh, I loved Okamoto so very much. He's just so sweet, so kind. Loved his friendship with Hana. Loved how he gave his all despite them. Like, you were competing with an adult, and like me and my friend, I think Jenny talked about, that if he had been in any other manga, he would have been the winner. And I'm just like, oh, Okamoto, I wanted so much for him, and I'm really glad though, just throughout the series, our female lead here, that they stayed friends the entire time. But gee, if that wouldn't have been in a romantic direction, my feelings would have not been hurt, because even though I didn't meet Okamoto first, I really loved his character a lot, and I was just like, this would have been perfect childhood friends to lovers. Like, I wanted that so badly. Like, every time, again, Okamoto was on page, I was like, I'm shipping you, buddy. I'm like, forget Takane, give me Okamoto, because he's just best boy in this manga. He was so very amazing, and to this day I am very strong. Team Okamoto should have won. Team Okamoto should have won. Maybe it wouldn't have been as funny as a manga because Takane wouldn't have been the male lead, but it would have been great. I would have read it. It would have been perfection. It would have been a great time. And just Okamoto, he should have won. He should have won. For number 2, I'm gonna do my best not to say spoilers for this one, and I'm gonna say Yuzu from Anonymous Noise. Oh my gosh, there's so many feelings that I have about this manga. Good feelings. I would say out of any love triangle, like extreme love triangle I've ever read that I really enjoyed, it was Anonymous Noise, and I do have a review on this channel. I loved reading this. My friend recommended it to me. It was just like, this is the one series that I vividly remember where I was like, I am Team Yuzu whole way. No, a few volumes later, I'm like, I'm Team Momo. And then a few volumes later, I'm back to Team Yuzu, and then I was Team Momo. I mean, I felt my feelings were going all over the place when I read Anonymous Noise. It is definitely a very messy love triangle, but I can say that Yuzu, I really loved Yuzu a lot. I really loved how he was there for Nina. Is it Nina or Ninako? One of those. But how he was there for her through thick and thin. Through thick and thin. So I had to repeat myself because that was just how extreme it was, and it definitely hurt at some points when it was just like, girl, all you are seeing is Momo. You have Momo vision, and I'm like, you need Yuzu vision, because the things he did, just it was well beyond well beyond what I feel like a guy would ever do. And it's just because he loved her and there were things that happened and things went down, and it just every time I really feel like even when I was like cheering for Momo, that my heart still was with Yuzu, because I just could not get over how he really cared for our main girl. Like, he really genuinely gave us all for her. This is actually a series that I would love to collect personally. I read it from my library and I just had such a blast. And again, even to this day, even though it's been many years since I've read it, I still have really fond memories. I'm sure if I came back to reread it, I would still be Team Yuzu. I would still get angry at Momo, because heck yes, I got angry at him. And I'm just like, Nina, girl, what are you seeing? When you have Yuzu, you have this great guy right next to you. Like, come on. Go to him. Go to him. He's supporting you as a friend, but he could be so much more. And he's willing to be so much more. And he's made it known he would be so much more. And my heart broke for him that he just over and over again, he just got pushed into friend zone or inspiration for the music. And so there was some feelings there. There was some feelings, and Yuzu was just absolutely amazing in that series. And I knew for today, I was like, he has to be mentioned. He has to be mentioned. For number 3, I can't say that he is like a favorite for me, but I can say when it comes to this series, yes, and he is another character that deserves justice, because even though this series is ongoing, with later developments, I've got a feeling, y'all. I got a feeling that for number 3, and make sure I say his name right here, Hiromitsu from No Longer Heroine, I don't know if he's gonna be the end game. The series isn't over, at least in English, it's still ongoing, but the way that this volume specifically ended, just Hattori here, our girl, she needs to get over Rita. He's a childhood friend, but he ain't like Okamoto. Okamoto, no, he is in his own other league. Rita is like at the bottom of the barrel, okay? I'm sorry, Rita. Sorry to bash you like that, but it was just like, in this volume specifically, Hattori is struggling with her feelings. And I'm like, girl, what is there to struggle about? Our guy here, I'm like, who in the world would put up that on Christmas Day, they're dating, okay? Him and Hattori are dating. On Christmas Day, you are spying on your best friend and your childhood friend who you have loved your entire life, and you're just missing out on this great guy who's right here. I'm like, you're up in the tree and he's down below, and it's Christmas Day, and what are you doing? Not romantically spending it with your boyfriend. And I was just like, Hattori, what are you doing? And again, in this volume specifically, when there's a struggle that's going, Hattori's like, I don't know what I'm feeling. He sees right through her and he's still willing to be with her. I'm like, dude, I don't know what that says about you. I know he's an ex-playboy, and you know, he has sort of, I don't know if redeemed or he's recovering, but I'm like, he has stayed so faithful to Hattori. But Hattori in this volume is just like, I don't know, I'm wandering here. And I'm just like, girl, there's no need to wander when you have him, because he has just went above and beyond for a really great boyfriend. I mean, we know that he was pretty active when it came to being with women or with other girls in bed, and yet he has respected Hattori. He has not cheated on her. He's not flirting or kissing other girls like he did at one point early in the series. Like, no, he is smitten with Hattori. But I really feel like because of what Rita did, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it was at the end of this volume, because of what he did, Hattori, I think she's going to stray away. I think she's going to stray away, and my heart breaks for him, because he does not deserve that. He does not deserve that kind of heartbreak from Hattori, from a girl who I think genuinely does have feelings for him, but she's just so still caught up in Rita, and she's trying to move on, but it ain't working. I mean, maybe it did for a little bit, but it's still like, you know, like the whole Christmas thing. And it's just like, I guess she's a teenager, and I have forgiven her for the things that she makes, and I just enjoy this hot dumpster fire for what it is. But still, he deserves better. He deserves justice, because I really feel like with how this volume ended, we have 3 more volumes left, I just don't see him being the endgame. And I would love to be proven wrong. I would love for this series to be like, you know what, Laura, you are so wrong. He will be in-game, because that boy deserves it. After all the patience he has shown with Hattori, of how understanding he's been of Hattori, of how he's just gone out of his way for her, I'm like, yeah, you deserve it. And I really hope that by the end of this series, that it will be true. I continue to really love it and have a great time. But it does, when I talk about it in this kind of sense, when I take it more seriously, it does upset me, because he deserves so much better. He's a really good secondary male lead. And I hope that he has a good ending. That's what I hope for him. I so hope that for him by the end of this series. For number 4, I think, because I think I have extra and I didn't realize it. So I'm going to say Suwa from Orange. I don't have this series anymore because even though I really enjoyed it, I did a review on this channel, very heartfelt series. I just sort of knew that I wouldn't reread it again. And Suwa, look, I love Orange for the series itself. I think the characters are great, but Suwa, I love his character so much. When I read Orange Future, and I've reread that volume specifically more than I have the actual series itself, I sob every single time because it was just like, Suwa, you deserve the world, buddy. You deserve so much. And he's sort of, I don't think he was a childhood friend, but he's definitely a friend that I'm like, you should not be getting friend zoned because you're just so supportive and so encouraging in the situations he's in where he's supporting, you know, our main girl and the male lead. And I'm just like, Suwa, buddy, I want so much for you because he's just so kind and heartfelt and he just has a precious soul. And it was so hard in Orange Future seeing the heartbreak that he had in that volume. And I mean, things happen and it had a good ending, but the heartbreak and the tears and everything I felt just leading up to that moment was so painful for my heart. And so he is definitely a character that I'm like, protect his smile. And that's the thing with everything that has happened, he does keep his smile. I mean, Orange Future, no, not necessarily, but you know, everything leading up to that, I didn't want him to sort of be like, well, I'm with you, like for our female lead, which I'm blanking on her name, like I felt like in the one timeline that was like, she's with him because that's all there is. Suwa deserves better. He deserves better. And you know, I'm not knocking our female lead, I'm not knocking her, but Suwa easily, hands down, is my favorite character in that series. I related a lot to him and I just really loved him, and seeing his heart in Orange Future was absolutely heartbreaking and devastating for me when he is comes across as a happy-go-lucky kind of character. And I'm just like, if other people knew, if the female lead knew, and you know, I know there's a lot of things that are going down, but it's just like, I wish she would have been there for him in a different way than what she was throughout the main series. So Suwa, easily best boys in that series. I really loved him a lot. And it makes me want to reread Orange Future, which I actually have digitally. I bought it digitally and I bought it physically, like, though I did hand off my copies to a friend who I felt would enjoy the series. She loved the series. Felt she would reread it more than I have because I've never reread it. But I should reread it, even though I'll know I'll sob and I'll cry. But I'm just thankful that there was a happy ending for him because he deserved it with everything he did and still had that smile on his face. He deserved every ounce and every bit of happiness. For number 5, I sort of have 2 picks. So I guess as an honorable mention, I was gonna say Obi from Snow White the Red Hair, but I felt a little bit conflicted. I love Obi. There's no confliction there, but like, or feeling conflicted. I felt conflicted because I don't really feel like Snow White the Red Hair is like your traditional love triangle. And so I just, even though I definitely know that he has feelings for Shirayuki, that he's just so respectful, and I'm very much team Zen, very much, though there were times earlier in the series that I was very much team Obi, but I really love Shirayuki and Obi's friendship a lot. So I'm saying him as an honorable mention, but do know he is one of my favorite characters. Like, I love him, but I just felt for the sake of this prompt, I felt for number 5 that one that would be very good is Ando from Strobe Edge. Now, I love how this manga ends, but for the longest time, I was not happy. At least like when I was reading the volumes individually, okay? This is my first Iosaki Saka manga. Do have a review on this channel. I love her work. I know I've talked about before that I don't love Sakura Saku, but I definitely still love Iosaki Saka as a creator, and will definitely be trying her work that she's currently working on in Japan, like whenever, hopefully, we get that in English. So it's been a really long time since I've read Strobe Edge, and I was rereading this volume and a little bit of volume 4, and Ando, I just remember, he's another Playboy character, but he falls head over heels for Ninako. He changes his ways to be with her, and it's really interesting. Can I just mention that I don't know why it is. Okay, so when I was reading volume 4, there's a scene. Ninako is head over heels for the male lead, and she really likes him, but he's he's in a relationship. She knows it's like a one-sided crush. It's never going to go anywhere. And Ando starts developing feelings for her. And he's like, hey, why don't you use me to get over your crush kind of thing, however you want to use it. She's like, well, I don't really want to do that. He's like, well, I don't care because I'm head over heels for you. And I'm giving all my efforts into being there for you and, you know, hopefully becoming the boyfriend that you want. Now, why is it that they're almost an exact similar line from Ando in this series was in the same, a similar line in Oh Horror Ride? I don't remember the guy's name. I didn't like him though, as a secondary male lead. I can say that, but he's the one that enters into a relationship with Futaba as she is wrestling with her feelings. I can't remember the male lead's name in that series, but he is like, you know, use me. I think it's because, but yeah, similar line of use me to get over your crush. I think it's just because he was so pushy. And this one, Ando, I feel like does put, I'm not gonna say pressure, but he makes his feelings known, but he also really respects Ninako to turn him down, I think. I just felt like it was different. And I never connected how those lines were very similar in both series. Like it never dawned on me until I was reading it, but I'm like, Ando, I'm like, it's okay. And that might be because I really love Ando. I feel like when it comes to the love triangle in this series, a lot of us were very much team Ando. And for a very large part of this series, I was like, I don't want Ren. He's not as exciting. He's not as funny as Ando. He doesn't have the same blushy moments as Ando. And so because of that, it was really hard for me to get behind Team Ren. And I just was like, Ando, you know, especially when you have a character that was a playboy and was, you know, doing things, and then they just flip their whole world upside down for the girl they love. Man, that's a trope I can't get enough of. I really, really like that trope a lot. I just loved seeing him personally as a character grow and fall head over heels for Ninako, doing what he can to hopefully just spark something for her that she would return his feelings. I think that she did really care for him, just not in a romantic way. So I definitely need to reread this series because I would love to say more, and I'm like, I can't fully remember what happens after this because I definitely feel like him and Ninako have some really great moments and definitely a lot of fun shenanigans that happen because in one of these she like failed her exam and he's like, oh, that's a pretty bad grade you got there. And so they have like a conversation about it and he is sort of making his feelings slowly known. And I am thankful though that he had a good inning in this series because I would have been so crushed if he had not. But he's definitely a very, very fun character. And I did love him and Ren's like conversations that they had. You know, like Ren still called him like a best friend and Otto's like, no, we're not even friends when they were. So I will stop rambling there. But I really love Ando. Like he was the first person actually on my list that I wrote them like, yes, Ando from Strobedge is definitely one of those secondary male leads. I really, really loved his character a lot and just was definitely cheering for him and definitely rooting for him. And I think that honestly surprised me with Strobedge, that how strongly I was team Ando, that I was surprised I still love the series even with how everything unfolded and really still loved the ending. Like that spoke a lot to me personally, and that was when I was like, I'm getting on the Iosagi Saka hype train, even though the angst was like unbearably real. And I remember staying till like 2 a.m. like, I need just another volume because my heart's not okay and I need it to be okay before I can go to bed. Such a good and amazing series. I really hope it comes back in stock because I'm still missing the later volumes. I think I have 1 through 5 and then I'm missing 6, 7, 8, 9. No, I think it is 6, 7, 8. I don't know. I'm still missing 3 to 4 volumes. I know I have the very final volume, but I'm missing that last chunk. And I feel like that is some of my favorite parts because even though it gets really messy during that, but it was just so good. So I definitely am due for a reread, but I would love to hear from you friends. What are some of your favorite secondary male leads? Do you like reading manga with love triangles? Do you have any recommendations? I know Nina the Starry Bride is a really big one that's out. I am team Azor. Yes, I'm team Azor. I really like him. I was gonna say him, but I haven't read past volume 3. So yes, I would love to hear from you friends. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!